What's going on, guys? My name is Yellow S2K and welcome back to some MX bikes. We are checking out 2024 Anaheim 1 and we're doing it on the Stark. Should be quite a bit of fun. I've done a handful of laps and kind of got it figured out, but I would say it's a little bit more difficult for me than just riding it on the 450. So you'll have to bear with me. I'm kind of trash at Supercross, but this is a really fun combo to just mess with and see what it's like. We'll talk a little bit about Anaheim 1, of course, but if you're looking for a race recap, I would go somewhere else. There's lots of places that do that. For me, it's more just interesting to kind of think about what's going on in Supercross, the basic results, and then kind of predict, you know, what's coming next. So that's the plan here. It's so weird to ride this thing and just listen to this electric motor just whining. It's interesting since there's no gears. It's like the normal stuff you would go by to try to figure out how fast you should hit something, like being in a certain gear at a certain RPM range and hearing that RPM range and be able to really know, you know, are you in the meat of the power, this or that. It's completely different on this bike. Just having all this power at your fingertips. I can't imagine what it'd be like riding this on an actual Supercross track. But here we are. MX bikes riding it on Anaheim 1. Pretty fun combo. My main question for you guys is, would you buy a Stark? There's that quad. I guess it's triple quad single. I am not like anti-Stark, but I would say it would have to be like my fourth or fifth or who knows, even sixth bike. And that's what's hard for me. Now, if I was at the track all the time and that was my thing, I would maybe have it a little bit sooner. It could be, I could see it being a second bike if you're at the track all the time, and this could just be almost like a party trick that you bring to the track sometimes and hop on it and have some fun, let your buddies ride it. It's still a bit of a novelty, you know, but honestly, that's about it for me. I mean, if I was going to buy one myself, it would have to be honestly my fifth bike or something. So I'd have to have a 450. I'd probably want a bike for the woods as well, so I'd probably get maybe a 300 KTM or something like that, maybe a 300 Beta just to switch it up. And then from there, ooh, got a little carried away with that whip. See if we can still just whap. Well, I guess it doesn't, there's no whap. It's just like a whine. It's like a blender. But 450. 300 two-stroke woods bike, maybe have like a two-stroke moto bike as well. That'd be kind of cool, just because. And I don't know, from there I'd probably get a couple other bikes maybe for like on off-road stuff. I'd probably get maybe a 500 KTM to be able to kind of ride on the street to sweet trails and good roads and just be able to go explore on that. I mean, why not, right? That'd be kind of cool. And then I'd probably have a Ducati Multistrada Pikes Peak Edition. Then I would probably want a sport bike of some kind, and may as well keep it. Well, I'll switch it up. We'll do, instead of two Ducatis, I'll switch it up to, and maybe do a KTM 1290 Super Ducar. How about that? But then I'd also probably want, I don't know, a Supermoto bike. I'd probably get a 690 Supermoto. Or it's just, there's so many cool bikes and experiences that the Varg would be a little ways back for me. But they are cool, and definitely, like I said, a party trick, a novelty, something to bring out at the track and have everybody just kind of laugh and have some fun. And I'm sure they're a blast. I'm sure we all know it would be a good time. But I don't know. Would you guys buy one? What do you think? I'm really curious to see what people think and if they're interested in the Stark. I know the Alta didn't seem to be too successful, so it's interesting to see Stark come along and really seem to be putting it together in a more legitimate way. At least I don't know a whole lot of the details, but it seems to be pretty legitimate. I know it got a Arena Cross win this weekend, which is pretty cool. So yeah, again, I'm not anti-electric bike, but where does it fit for you is my big question. And everyone's got a different situation, right? It's like, would it fit your life a little bit better Are you in an area where you could ride at your home track on it and get away with it? And maybe that's a good answer. Yeah, just curious. But anyway, Anaheim won. Pretty fun race. I wouldn't say it necessarily delivered on the hype. I love every single race, so I have a hard time being too negative. But, you know, Anaheim 1 gets so much build-up and excitement that sometimes it delivers, and other times it's, you know, everyone's settling in. They're not wanting to get hurt beginning of the season. So it can be that way sometimes. But I think it was good. Definitely some excitement, but that main event in the 450s in particular, they really just spread out and did their thing. Of course, Jet is just killing it. I'd be really interested to see how he would do without a start. I mean, he proved that he can pull away and do what he did really the entire outdoor season. Get a good start and just pull away a little bit, maintain a gap. So it's always hard to tell, right? One race in, what's really going to happen this season. It sucks that Tomac ended up getting just a terrible start. And he didn't really make much progress. So I saw some, I don't know when he said it, but he did say that he just underperformed, and that's that, and he'll come back stronger. So I hope he's not having some issues from that Achilles, or maybe not even just the Achilles, but just the downtime of just not being in that race shape. So be interesting to see how he does and how he rebounds in these next few races. Obviously, Webb was riding great and then just wadded it over the little wall table jump. And that really was a bummer to see him lose some positions. But luckily, it wasn't like a DNF or anything like that. He just, let's see, I'll look down. I've got he finished 6th. So, yeah, that's a bummer to see him go back a little bit after a great ride. But it did show promise. He was riding pretty great on that new bike. So yeah, pretty interesting there. Obviously Sexton had a pretty good ride. Anderson had a really good ride. Cool to see Plessinger up there as well. So just overall a pretty great weekend. I'd love to see somebody like Plessinger just come away with a win and surprise people. He had some great performances last year and then ended up kind of throwing them away. So yeah, just a lot of good stuff. Obviously the crash at the start was well, actually, the main thing was really that Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, didn't make the main event, which is just a really big bummer. And of course, there's always the drama with Freeze and all that. But yeah, bummer to see Hunter Lawrence, not make it through. Just it's the way it goes sometimes, and he ended up having that terrible start in the LCQ, and he was just toast. So. Yeah, so that was kind of a bummer to see that, but overall, pretty good racing, and I really enjoyed it in the 450 class. And then once we get to 250s, I think it was pretty good too. I mean, I always enjoy the 250s. Seems like a pretty decent West Coast this year. I'm going to read it off real quick. Hampshire, Smith, Kitchen, Shimoda, Voland. There's your top 5. So pretty cool to see Hampshire just pull away with the win. Smith riding pretty good. Levi Kitchen up there again on these new bikes. It's cool to see these guys just performing well on a new bike and seeing that maybe change is good for these guys sometime. But I really think Hampshire's going to just get this championship. I mean, he did so good compared to Jet previously, and now that Jet's out, it's like it's kind of his to win or his to lose, depending on the way you look at it, right? So yeah, I think 250s were pretty fun, pretty cool track. I think overall it was pretty basic, the track, so it'd be interesting to see these next rounds and see what we end up getting and how rutty some of these, even though the West Coast, but see if we can get some ruts and see some very different terrain. And I just love Supercross so much, man. It's so cool to have it back. I think it's one of those things that like gets me through the week. I'm like, oh, there's a Supercross. I just got to get through to Saturday. That's all that matters. And so it's just a wonderful time of year, especially after all racing being pretty much done. You know, Formula One, WRC, MotoGP, all of it is like on that hiatus, and it's always, excuse me, it's always tough to have just no racing, man. I live for this stuff, and I know a lot of you guys do. So yeah, it's great to have Supercross season back, and the field is just stacked. In fact, let's stop here real quick. I know I'm leaning towards 450 in this conversation, but oh well. Just to read it. Lawrence, Anderson, Sexton, Plessinger, Ferrandis, Webb, Barsha, Cooper, Tomac, Roxon, Stewart, Sansarillo, Prado, Hill, Drake, Wilson, McElrath, and Chisholm. There's your top 18. And that is ignoring some of the stuff that happened, like Roxon in that crash off the start, and some of the other guys that got just kind of caught up. I know I'm missing somebody right now, but that's missing some of those guys that had those issues and didn't make it, you know, Hunter Lawrence, for example. So what a stacked field. I think we're in for a pretty great season, and I just absolutely love it. What is your prediction for champion? If anybody answers, I'm just curious. I'll say I have a fantasy league going on with a bunch of people you guys might know from the gaming community, but I put Tomac. Now, I'll be honest, I have Tomac in as my champion, but I don't think he's going to do it. I just really am rooting for him. I'd love to see him do it one more time. I'd like to see him maybe do it and then retire, go out on top, because let's be honest, that last year, what a season. And then you include Motocross the Nations and some of that stuff. It's like the dude is just an absolute beast, and to go out like he did with that Achilles injury when he should have won the championship, it's just a bummer. So it'd be cool to see him. Definitely, I don't want to see him just retire after coming back and not being able to perform and just not getting back to his winning ways. So I'd love to see him just win this championship, show Jet, the young guy, that, you know, Tomac's a beast, and then retire or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But honestly, Jet is just on fire. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. It's great to have races back, and I'll probably try to do something like this for each round. Again, just pretty laid back. That's kind of more what I'm looking to do now. Just hop on, play a little bit, chat a little bit, and maybe we'll do some live streams as well related to some of this stuff, just chatting and having a good time. So anyway, thank you guys for you that are all watching. I know it's a long road ahead to try to grow that viewership back. So anybody watching right now, just know that I appreciate it, especially if you got this late into a rambly video here. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you later. Peace.